This is the video for the Unit 1 Part B surface area. Finding the area of a combined figure. So I want you to see if you could pause this video and try to find the area of this. Now it is a trapezoid, but we haven't gone over formula for a trapezoid. So what I would like you to do is try to see if you could break this up into polygons that we have found the area of. And so far we have done rectangles or parallelograms and triangles. So go ahead and pause, see if you can do that. Break this up, find the area of each polygon, and add up all the areas. And the total area would be 50 square centimeters. Now, if you don't feel comfortable yet, you can continue watching and then always go back and practice. So let's go on. What I did here is I drew this blue line, and I drew this line going down. Now, I mentioned before that when you draw this line, it breaks that bottom piece up, the 14, and I like to cross that out so that we don't reuse that number, especially if it's broken up into pieces. This length is still 14. Now, when I draw this line here, it forms this rectangle. It's a 6 by 5 rectangle, which means that that bottom piece here is 6. Now, so if the whole thing is 14, I subtracted 14 minus 6, and that equals 8. Now, if you notice, this figure is not drawn to scale because this length is much longer than this, but this is 6 centimeters. Mathematically, this is 8. Now, I'm going to find the area of this rectangle. So I draw an arrow here. Area of a rectangle is base times height. So the base is 6, the height is 5, which equals 30. So I wrote 30 in the middle. Now this triangle, a triangle is half of a parallelogram. So A equals half BH. The base is 8 and this height is 5 because the other side is 5. Half of 8 is 4, 4 times 5 is 20. So total area of this is 30 plus 20 is 50 square centimeters. Now, let's take a look at B. If you want, go ahead and you could pause and try to find the area of example B. Ready? Let's take a quick look. I broke it up like this. Now you could break it up in other ways, but this is how I broke it up. And the top rectangle is a 5 by 3, area is 15. This one is 7 times 3, which is 21. And make sure you're counting. Don't just copy what I have. Make sure that you can count that the side length is 7 and the side length is 3, which equals 21. This is a 4 by 3, which is 12. Then you add up the 3 areas, and the answer is 48 square units. So go ahead and pause. You could try example C. Okay. This is how I did example C. Now, I drew this line going up. You could have also drawn the line going across. It would just be different. But ultimately, the final answer should be 88 square feet. Now, when I drew this line on top, it broke that top piece up. So I crossed out the 12, and this rectangle is formed. Now, the top length is still 12, but again, when I break this up, this top part is 8. And the reason why I know that's 8, it's because I know that this rectangle is formed. So if that's 4 feet, then this is 4. And if 12 minus 4 is 8. So that makes this part 8. It's an 8 by 5 rectangle. 8 times 5 is 40. This is 4 times 12, which is 48. Added up, total area is 88 square feet. Go ahead and try example D and unpause when you're ready. Now, if I look at example D, I broke it up. I have a square in the middle, which has an area of 4. Now, the 2 triangles, remember, 2 triangles with the same base and height together forms a parallelogram. So I know the base is 2, height is 2. I could also cut this off and form the 4 squares here. So together it makes 4, or just do base times height is 2 times 2 is 4. Then I circle these triangles in green, same base and height. Remember, 2 triangles with the same base and height equal a parallelogram. 2 times 2 is 4. So you just have to add 4 plus 4 plus 4, or 4 times 3 is 12. And make sure you note this. Remember, 2 triangles equals a parallelogram, but they have to have the same base and height. You can practice more questions like this in GG11 and GG12. So now let's move on to polyhedrons. Polyhedrons are closed figures bounded by polygons. They're 3D figures with flat sides. You cannot have any curved sides. And you could practice figure out what polyhedrons are in FF1 and FF2. What's the difference between a prism and a pyramid? Now, a prism, the one on the left, they have 2 identical bases, so make sure you write identical. The sides are rectangular, so anytime you're looking, I notice that there are rectangular sides and 2 bases that are the same. Then that tells me it's a prism. You name the shape you name the prism by the shape of the base. So if they're identical bases, triangular prism. If we look at this example, rectangular sides, 2 identical, triangular prism. They're all rectangles, so it's a rectangular prism. Now the one on the right, there's 2 identical bases that look like this, and if I count, there's 6 sides, so it's a hexagon. Their sides are rectangular. It's a hexagonal prism. There's another hexagon on the other side. Now, a pyramid has only 1 base, and the sides are triangles. So triangular side, you name the shape by its base. Now, if you look at this triangular pyramid, all of the faces will be triangles, so it's a triangular pyramid. A square pyramid has 1 square base, 4 triangular sides around it. Pentagon has 5 sides, so you'd have a pentagonal base and 5 triangles around it. The rectangular pyramid would have 1 rectangular base and then 4 triangles around it. You could practice FF1 and FF2. What is a net? A net is a pattern made when a 3D figure is laid out flat, showing each face of the figure. A net is folded to make a 3D figure. Now, if you notice that this prism, they're all squares, this is actually called a cube, like an ice cube. So to the left of this, right over here, I want you to write the word C-U-B-E, cube. And if I lay this out flat, if you notice there's 1 base on top, 1 base on the bottom, that's our 1 top, 1 bottom. And then there's 4 squares in the middle. So that's the net for the cube. Each of the following nets can be assembled into a polyhedron. Match each net with its corresponding polyhedron and name the polyhedron. Be prepared to explain how you know the net and polyhedron go together. So you could pause, and I'd like you to match all 5 with the net, with the polyhedron underneath. Go ahead and pause. Unpause when you're ready. Okay, so let's take a look. 1, the cube is matched with E. And write cube here, C-U-B-E. It has 6 squares. 2. I noticed 2 squares, and then there should be 4 rectangles, so that 2 it matches with B. This is a rectangular prism, number 2, so make sure you write rectangular prism. If you need the spelling, you can go up here and pause it. 3. I noticed triangular side, so it's a pyramid, square base. So square pyramid, 3 matches with A, square pyramid. And again, you can look up here and copy square pyramid. Four, a triangular base, triangular sides, so triangular pyramid 4 matches C. And if you need spelling, you can go back up. There is one that says triangular pyramid. And last 5, I noticed 2 triangular bases, they're identical, and rectangular sides, it's a prism, a triangular prism, and it matches D. You can practice this in FF3 and FF4. Anytime you need to watch this again, you can always rewind and pause and watch again. What is a surface area? Surface area is the total area of the faces on the outside of the shape, measured in square units. Now, if I look at surface area, I want to know the total area on the outside. If you ever look at gift wrap, on one side is the design, and on the other side you see a bunch of little squares. It's as if you're counting all the little squares and you're wondering, how many little squares do I need to wrap this present up? So let's take a look and let's find how many, like what we would do to find surface area of a cube. Now, a cube has all squares. So instead of writing length times width, I could just write the variable S. S stands for side. Since length and width are the same number, I can use the same variable. S times S is S to the second power. And all 6 sides have that. So the formula for surface area of a cube, you can actually just take area of one square, which is S to the second power, times 6. Here it would be 5 times 5 is 25 times 6, because all of them have an area of 25. And 25 times 6 is 150 square units. Now, what about a rectangular prism? Here I have the length, width, and height. Now there's a formula, and I remember in middle school my teacher told me to memorize the formula, but then as I started solving surface area, I realized I don't need to memorize the formula. Here's a little shortcut, and this works with rectangular prisms. An easy way would be, without memorizing, would be to write the 3 letters and pair up the letters. And we pair up because we're finding area of a rectangle where you measure, let's say base times height, you're measuring 2 numbers or 2 dimensions. Ready? So I could write L, W, and H and pair them up. You'd multiply length times width, length times height, and then width times height. So if I look, length times width would be in this picture, length and width would be on the side. That would be the top, length times width. Then you could pair up length times height, which is here, length times height, which is the front. And then the last is width times height, which is the side. So that's what this is. But if we find the area of the top, the bottom also has the same area. If you find the area of the front, the back has the same area. And if you find the area of the side, you double it to get the area of the other side. That's why you double every pair. This will include the top and the bottom, the front and the back, and the side and the side. And then you add up all the total numbers. So that's what I did here. Here's my actual example. 6, 5, and 11. Pair up 6 times 5, 6 times 11, and 5 times 11. And then you double each one up. So I would do 6 times 5 is 30. Double is 60. 6 times 11 is 66. Double that is 132. 5 times 11, 55. Double it, you get 110. Then when you add this up, the surface area of this is 302 square centimeters. So what I was saying is, like, let's say you had those little tiny squares and each one counted as 1 square centimeter. I would need 302 little squares just to wrap, let's say, this present up. Okay, let's take a look at a surface area of a triangular prism or pyramid or prism. Now, I notice it has one base. and triangular sides, that makes this a pyramid. So this is a square base, so square pyramid. Now, I would find the area of the square. 6 times 6 is 36. Now, I remember, now this triangle has a base of 6, a height of 6. This triangle has a base of 6 and a height of 6. Two triangles with the same base and height together forms a parallelogram. Technically, I could just do 6 times 6 to get 36. Two triangles equals a parallelogram. Make sure you note that. And then in green, these two triangles have the same base and height, so I could just do 6 times 6 is 36. To get the total area, you could do 36 times 3, which is 108 square units. Now, if you're using the little 2, then make sure you put it after the label. Or just write out square units. Now, in here, what they did is they found the area of one triangle, base times height divided by 2. 36 divided by 2 is 18. This has an area of 18. This has an area of 18. There are 4 triangles. So they did 18 times 4 triangles. That's 72 for the triangles, plus the square, which is 36, to get 108. Or you could do what I did. Like I said, pair these up, 36, and that's it. Same thing. Now, if you want, you could pause and see if you could try to answer the surface area of the next net, and then we'll go back. You can unpause and see. So let's find the surface area of this. I noticed 2 identical bases and rectangular sides. That makes this a prism. 2 identical bases and rectangular sides. Now, if the bases are triangles, it's a triangular prism. Now, I want to find the area of the 3 rectangles in the middle. Don't assume that they have the same base and height. If I look, this base is 5, this height is 6. So 5 times 6 is 30. Now the one in the middle is a little smaller. The base is 3, the height is 6. 3 times 6 is 18. And the one on the end is a 5 by 6. 5 times 6 is 30. Now, what I could have done is the 2 identical bases, and I did cross out the slanted lengths because I don't want to focus on that. I just want to focus on the base of 3 and the height of 4. Now, or again, 2 triangles together form a parallelogram. I could have just done 3 times 4 is 12. That's the area of the 2 triangles. But here I did want to try to write a little something different. I used the triangle formula. So I did base times height, 3 times 4 is 12. Half of that is 6. That means the top area is 6, the bottom area is 6. Then you add it all up, and you get 90 square inches. And then you can always go into Amplify, look over questions we've covered. You can do IXL, any of the sections that are listed here. Feel free to go back and write and listen to this again, or take your own notes from the video.